Hello again, welcome to more business news. Now, Christmas is associated with increased expenditure on some goods and services for family and loved ones. Unfortunately, many people go broke right after the Yuletide is over and have to wait the long haul for end of January. But how do you go about these spending patterns to ensure that you avoid the normal trend come January 2020? George Rafi has more.
Well, Christmas is a season of spending where you have to do a lot of things to celebrate this season. But one critical thing is about the budget. How do you spend right during this season so that you don't end up actually being broke in the first half of the next year? That has always been a big challenge for many individuals. And that is why I sought to seek the thoughts of financial consultant Charles Mensah on what you have to do at this time. He believes that it has to be prudent spending and actually budgeting for this period. Just 4 days or 5 days.
You see, if you haven't practiced it over time, and this is it, you have to. Because you have to, my worry is that you have to start the year with a clean head in terms of focus. Now, if you don't do that and you start the year with a huge amount of debt, then you'll be worried. So areas that you can think of bringing in multiple streams of income, you cannot, because already you are doing, hand to mouth. If you are doing hand to mouth, what time will you get to even think outside the box? So let's force ourselves and stick within our budget. After all, it's only 4 days. Stick within our budget for the expenditure. But hey, if it is that you've prepared yourself already towards it, don't worry ahead about the budget. At least you must also enjoy. But if you don't and you haven't prepared, and it has come to me, don't go and borrow because your neighbors are having parties. Don't. But so next year, that will force you to plan ahead of time. Very important.
Charles Mensah is also against actually borrowing to consume during this period. He believes that it's about the fact that you have to stick to your budget. Therefore, don't go out there and borrow to spend during this Christmas. He also believes that there is also an avenue opportunity for those who have limited budget and what you have to do during this period. Therefore, you don't need to be earning any fat salary to enjoy Christmas.
If you want to attend to event, you probably need to know the name of the event and how much is it. If it's the event where they are doing some promotions, maybe you can participate around it. But the key point is that don't go and borrow for party. In the same vein, I'll tell people, don't go and borrow for a wedding. So that's the same thing. You just don't borrow for consumption. Anybody who borrows for consumption is a big challenge. When you borrow, you're borrowing to buy some assets, some household.
Bring you some good returns.
Yes, something that tomorrow, if you can't afford to service the debt for paying a television set, and the person comes, the worst case scenario is that the television will be picked and it will be sold. That will take you out. But if you borrow for a party, when the person comes to your house and you can not pay, what will you do? They will carry you along and it creates more problem for you.
So the verdict is out there on what you have to do to ensure that you are not broke come January 2020. It's about spending wisely, spending within your limit, and ensure that you just do not borrow to consume during this period. After all, it's just about 5 days. Remember, the January is there waiting for you. The school fees and the other commitments that you have to deal with. George Yafe, reporting for Joy Business. Afishepa, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, so a word to the wise is enough. Away from that, the Union of Industry, Commerce and Finance Workers, UNICOF, is asking the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, to immediately rescind its decision to tax clothing allowance of bank staff from 2020. According to UNICOF, the directive has no basis in law, as the issue of taxation was long dealt with when Major Daniel Ablokwaku retired, was the commissioner in charge of the Domestic Revenue Department of the GRA. General Secretary of UNICOF, John Senanu Omegashi, who spoke with Joy Business, accused GRA of double standards.
Engagement with the GRA on this matter in respect of payment of taxation on clothing allowances. They themselves had rules. Among other things, giving us the opportunity, or giving the employers opportunity to pay clothing allowances without deducting taxes. And they stated reasons that the purpose is that the clothing must be used exclusively for the purposes of the work. They themselves had ruled on this matter, and that had given us the opportunity to receive the clothing allowances without it being paid.
Okay, so tell me, when exactly was this ruling done? If you can just read some of the lines in this particular ruling you are referring to, and exactly what did they say? Because they kind of are saying that they have agreed with you as a union, and for that matter, it's a non-issue.
We are very surprised at that. This communication was from Ghana Revenue Authority, dated 7th April 2011. Image or clothing allowance. I quote, "Your appeal was based on the fact that the clothing was to boost the corporate image and business promotion of the company rather than the employee." So the emphasis here is on the company's image and business promotion rather than a benefit to the employee. On the basis of the fact that the employer requires employees to wear the prescribed attire with the risk of being sanctioned should they default, and in view of the importance the corporate image and business interests of the employer seem to be linked with the demand, I uphold the appeal to confirm the provisions of Section 8, subsection 1D as a discharger or reimbursement by an employer of an expenditure incurred by that person on behalf of the employer that serves the proper business purposes of the employer. Indeed, my earlier ruling was on the same basis, except that my understanding was that this was a regular monthly payment rather than a one-off payment.
So who signed this particular letter?
This particular letter was signed by Major Daniel S. Ablo Kwaku,
okay,
the former commissioner
of the GRA.
You understand?
So you had gone to the kind of commission that they set up to appeal when there was an attempt in 2011 to charge this.
You are right. You are right. The union represented the company that presented the appeal. And as the union that organizes the members, we went to the commission and had this ruling. So we are surprised that we have never been engaged before they started engaging Bankers Association. And we also expect that the Association of Bankers must also engage the union, because we have made our point very clear to them that these are allowances that are non-taxable.
Yeah, because
by their own ruling.
Okay,
and they also paid the clothing allowances to their employees without deducting taxes. So where are they now descending on the banks and other companies that are enjoying the same allowances?
Laws in this country in terms of taxation, we need to be able to develop a nation.
We as law-abiding citizens and law-abiding union, we respect every law of this country, but the right thing must be done. You had ruled that we should not pay taxes on the clothing allowance. If for any reasons that you want us to pay, there's a need for us to engage. You cannot bypass acts, find a lean way of engaging the banking association. They don't pay. It is the employers that pay. And these are negotiable items. We have them in our collective agreement. So unilaterally, employers cannot decide to deduct taxes from our clothing allowances without engaging acts.
And that's it for Business Tonight on Joy News Prime. Many thanks for your company. For more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. And on behalf of the Joy Business team, I would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Have a great celebration.